Hi friends, in Planet Earth Dating, it's Sunday, July 5th, 2015. Ra, Pan, and Asha in the Lynn-Body-Mind, Betty Jean, Fritz, and Black Wolf in the Jamie-Body-Mind. Black Wolf has been going back in time in search of the meetings where huge errors were made so that we can go back and correct them right now. We believe that that's the direction our videoed segment of our work today is going to head in, but we could be wrong. So our intention is, as always, to do what is ours to do in all dimensions right now, to trigger the awakening right now. And with that, it begins. Black Wolf.
Yeah.
Black Wolf. Did you find any errors?
Oh yeah.
Well,
Yeah, we can go
would
to
you be
one.
willing to lead us?
Yes, absolutely. So first, it's like we walk up. They look kind of like stairs in a not well-maintained building in a not great part of town, kind of like the back stairs,
I see this.
concrete, and down a hallway, and it looks kind of like an abandoned hospital, and there's a meeting at the end of the hall
I see that.
of a really scattered group. Some of them feel like they have super good intentions, and they just don't know who else to work with, and some of them feel like their intentions are kind of shaky, but they're kind of carried along by the goodness of the others around them. They have a bad plan that's not going to work, that they don't know isn't going to work, is my perception.
Some of them know in their heart it isn't going to work, and they're really angry about it.
Yeah, that's true.
But they have a convenient lack of curiosity about why they're feeling angry.
That's true.
And so they don't have conscious awareness that they know this isn't going to work.
That's true.
So we can just kind of stretch time so that they can see how it's going to turn out. And
That's true.
some of them start to be getting the whiff that this is a bad
Yeah, I see them looking around, kind of.
Bad plan, bad plan,
Bad plan, bad plan.
And now they need to speak up because those strong personalities are still carrying the day
That's
in this
true.
group. And the strong personalities are the ones who are kind of doggedly heading in
That's true.
what doesn't seem like a direction that's going to lead to success.
And I feel like I'm kind of dropping into the bodies of one of the people who know it's a bad idea.
Yes?
Because I can see through her eyes.
Yes?
Hold on. This is a bad idea. This isn't going to work.
What do you mean?
We tried this already. It didn't look the same, but this is the same thing we already tried, but worse. This is just sloppier, even though it doesn't look sloppier.
I can see this was a hospital now.
That's true.
I can see that it has ceased to be a hospital because of many bad ideas
That's true.
that were acted upon.
That's true.
And I can see that this thought is correct.
That's true.
That this is a bad idea and we
This
should
is a bad
stop.
idea.
I'm starting, the group is fading. Either I'm moving on
I feel
or
the group fading, and it feels like we're moving through a kind of a time warpy tunnel, being brought into another room, and it's darker, and there are fewer people, maybe 2, maybe 3, and
much worse.
much
worse.
worse, and like don't have good intentions.
No. All the ones who had good intentions have said, this isn't heading in the right direction. I'm leaving.
I'm leaving, that's
And
true.
the ones who are left don't have good intentions.
No, and it's just spiraling worse and worse and worse and worse.
There's this old adage that's not properly said. It should actually say, the road to hell is paved with the pretense of good intentions.
That's true.
And that's what we're seeing. We're seeing the pretense of good intentions and how it devolves.
That's true.
Creating suffering for all.
That's true.
So one of the foundational errors
Yes.
is pretending things are other than they are, and especially
That's
pretending about our
true.
own motives.
That's true.
In other words, lying at some level or another.
That's true.
Pretending that to ourselves that we have good intentions is really a big bad mistake.
That's true.
That leads to terrible suffering for us and for everyone around us.
That's true.
And I can see how these beings who have bad intentions, by the time we see this small meeting, which is maybe the 20th or 50th meeting of this group trying to solve this problem, they clearly have bad intentions.
That's true.
All the pretense is gone.
That's true.
It's worn off. But if we go back to the very start, we see how their intentions are almost good.
That's true.
And there's enough of a pretense that it's heading them off in a bad direction.
That's true.
We see how each time they're taking the wrong turn.
That's
each
true.
decision point, they're continuing to
getting
make a
worse,
poor choice.
worse.
Getting
That's
worse,
true.
worse.
That's
Slippery
true.
slopes. Bad intentions are slippery slopes.
That's true.
Who among us hasn't slid down a slippery slope?
Me too.
Especially when we have a convenient lack of curiosity about
About
what's
our own
going on
lives.
inside of us.
That's true.
Now, who among us doesn't have a blind spot when it comes to how we ourselves are?
Yeah.
Isn't this the gift of working in a group?
That's true.
So that others will say, being crazy.
That's true.
I remember when I was having one of the worst challenges of this process, and everyone was saying, "Right, you're becoming a Geppetto flea."
That's true.
And I could hear it, but it seemed like it was coming from so far away, and that what I was doing was impossible for me to let go of. That's how it felt.
That's true.
And those voices that actually turned out to be voices of truth and reason were so far away as to be almost irrelevant. That's how it felt to me.
That's true.
Can anybody else relate to a time where they were headed in the wrong direction and discover how it felt?
I, Betty Jean, at some point earlier in this process, when we were first working outside the coal mine, and it felt like there wasn't anything that I could actually do, and I was casting about for something to do, and what I ended up doing was leading people around giving tours, which was totally not what was needed in the situation. And at the time it felt like the thing that I really should have been doing was just too hard. The feeling of, oh, well, I can't possibly do that. That's just too much. So I'll do this thing instead, and then I'll do this thing instead, and then I'll do this thing instead. And then it became something that was unrecognizable from what I had originally came there to do.
Yes.
That's true.
I can recall the time when I was walking into the valley, walking away from Asha and from Ra and the rest of the group.
Right.
And I could just feel that something was wrong.
That's true.
I could feel something is really wrong. And I knew what they were asking me to do felt different. And it probably was different because it was new.
That's true.
I couldn't tell what the wrong feeling was coming from, but it was very present. And I didn't know what to do, and so I went back to the familiar rather than the unfamiliar, and it turns out to have been going in the wrong direction.
That's true.
It was time for me to turn around and do something new and different.
That's true. Well, Black Wolf, had similar experiences like that one, where I could feel the feeling of something is wrong, something is bad, but couldn't tell if it's bad because I'm doing the wrong thing, or if it's bad because this person is confused, or if it's bad just because this situation is bad and I'm just trying to do the right thing and get through it, or if it's bad because or feels bad because this situation is bad and I'm doing the wrong thing trying to get through it, or if it feels bad because this situation is bad and that person is doing the wrong thing and that person is doing the right thing and I'm not doing what I'm supposed to be doing at all.
It's really confusing.
That's true.
We get into these situations and it's extremely confusing.
That's true.
Good people, good-hearted people with good intentions can start to take wrong turns, and then build a bad habit onto a bad habit because we don't stop and say, wait a minute, I think I must be making a mistake because I'm feeling worse and worse instead of better and better.
That's true.
To not say, hold on. I can't help but notice that I'm present in all of these situations. Maybe the problem is with me. Maybe I need to change. Maybe I need to do something different.
That's true.
I could be wrong.
I could be wrong.
4 words to change a life.
That's true.
I could be wrong.
That's true. I can't help but notice that I was a main figure in all the disasters of my life.
Right. What now? To go back to the very first meeting of this group, we just kind of back up through the timeline. Feels like walking backward until boom, I kind of hit a wall. That's when
I feel the wall.
And so now there's a pretty big group here, and there's some high tempers here. There's a lot of divergence of opinion of how to solve the problem.
People standing up and pointing fingers.
Yes, and someone is saying, you who are shouting need to leave the room. And right there, that's a mistake, because some of those people who are shouting
have really good points.
That's
true.
And shooting the messenger doesn't make the truth go away.
That's true.
And we see how some important, strong voices of truth walked out the meeting right then because the consensus was that they should shut up and go away.
That's true.
And they said, you know what, life is too short.
That's true.
Let these idiots crash this boat. I'm getting off right now.
That's true.
And they went and worked at some other hospital.
That's true.
Goodbye.
That's true.
That was a mistake.
That's true.
And then we see another meeting.
Has to be shown.
I feel like I'm there. I feel like I'm in the meeting. And
I feel in the seat.
It's less contentious.
Yes.
But the direction is now more firmly in the wrong direction.
That's true.
And there are good-hearted people there who feel this isn't the right direction, but they aren't the types to stand up and say, wait a minute, something's wrong here.
That's true.
They're saying, I could be wrong, maybe this will change, maybe something is different that I'm seeing. And Asha, I feel like Asha right now, this is an error that I make over and over again. I know this error pattern very well. I think what it is cowardice. I think I'm using as an excuse, I could be wrong. But if I weren't being cowardly, I would stand up and say, excuse me, I could be wrong, but my perception is this. To sit quietly thinking, I could be wrong, that's cowardice.
That's true.
I see that now. I'm just standing up and I don't know who I am. Excuse me, I could be wrong. I could be really wrong. But my perception is we need those voices who are in the room for the first meeting, because there's an element of truth that's missing from this meeting. And it may not be that their points are 100% accurate, but by exploring their points, we might get to what is 100% true. So I think we really need those people in this meeting, and even though it's going to be more contentious, we just need to work through it.
I feel like whoever I am, and like running to the door and opening the door and saying, come back, come back. Are you willing to come back?
Yeah, sorry about that.
Sorry, I'm sorry.
Sorry.
Are you willing to come back?
Try again.
Try again.
We'll see if we can listen a little bit better.
Yeah.
I think we're going to leave our friends to have their meeting now.
That's my story.
And we will intend to move farther back in time and find more errors, moving farther and farther back in time.
That's true.
Finding the big errors until we find the errors that we cannot find earlier errors. Finding the original errors.
That's true.
And we remember the ancient word of sin, an archery term meaning to miss the mark. In other words, an error. So in effect, we are now in the search for original sin.
That's true.
To find the original mistakes that got us off our track.
That's true.
And correct those errors. We can do it.
That's true.
We can do it. So we see that in this meeting, what was occurring was that they were looking for an easy way out. there was dissension.
That's true.
It's difficult to work through dissension when we have real problems.
That's true.
It's easier to allow or to encourage the dissenting voices to lead.
That's true.
But that doesn't get us to truth.
That's true.
Right. Looking for the easy way out is a huge error.
That's true.
Let's tune to correct that error.
Look to the incarnates.
To the incarnate.
That could be.
It can't be worse.
It can't. Well, I don't.
It could be worse.
It could be worse.
Let's just write off the non-physical. They're not helping. These 200 who are still in physical form are making it so much worse. We can feel in our own energy bodies how they are degrading the energy. It would be so much. It was so much better before they came in.
That's true. Okay. We'll try that.
What do I know?
Yeah.
I know that when we went through the physical asking who wants to live the soul plan, all we got is a big fat 0.
That's true.
The koan.
The koan stands. That's true.
So what I was doing right then was going back to where we started. That's right where we started. That was where we started.
That's true.
Was with the people in the physical saying, come on, let's live our soul plans. You
That's
can
true.
do it. I always like it when it circles around. It gives me a feeling that we've been thorough.
That's true. That's a good point.
Onward.
Onward. Onward and backward.
And backward. Backward to the goal.
To the goal.
I think that's the point that they were at with their meeting, is that those people were saying, none of your plans work.
Yeah, that's true.
The people who walked away were saying, none of your plans work. We need to just shut this down. Shut it down.
That's true.
Give someone else a chance.
That's true.
Our business model doesn't work.
That's true.
That's what they were saying. Shut it down. This doesn't work.
That's true.